The sun was sinking below the jagged horizon of Kelsa Prime, casting long crimson shadows across the desert sands. Heat shimmered above the cracked ground, bending the landscape into a mirage of swirling light. Jox Harper, a human mechanic exiled from the core systems of the Milky Way, wiped the sweat from his brow and adjusted the heavy leather gloves he always carried. The galaxy had long learned not to expect humans to linger, yet somehow, Jox had carved a life from the harshest of stars. He had been heading toward a derelict mining outpost, hoping to salvage parts from old hover trucks to repair his own battered freighter. Life was simple: work, fix, survive. Nothing extraordinary, nothing heroic. And he liked it that way. Until the roar cut through the evening air. It was not a normal roar. It vibrated the sand beneath his feet, like the world itself had growled. He looked up just in time to see a massive figure hurtling across the dunes. The shape was unmistakably Dragon Warrior. Tall, scaled, and armored in polished obsidian plating that shimmered with iridescent hues. The creature carried a weapon that could fell a small starship. Its wings, folded against its back, bristled with tension, and it was crashing. Instinct overrode hesitation. Jox sprinted across the sand, a mechanic in ragged coveralls against a being built for war. He arrived just as the Dragon Warrior skidded to a halt, metal claws gouging deep trenches into the sand. One leg was twisted at a sharp, unnatural angle. Sparks flew from exposed circuitry embedded in its armor. "Wait. Hold still," Jox shouted, dropping his toolkit and rushing forward. His hands were human, small against the Dragon Warrior's scale and strength. But he had saved more machines than he cared to count. This was just another machine, albeit one that breathed fire and could tear him limb from limb. The Dragon Warrior's eyes, luminous amber, snapped toward him. It growled low, a sound that made Jox's teeth vibrate. He froze, hand hovering in midair, then saw something that made his heart slam into his ribs. Beneath the battle scars and hardened warrior face was human features. Not human exactly, but disturbingly familiar. A face that reminded him of someone long thought gone, Harper. The Dragon Warrior's voice was rough, edged with disbelief. Jox staggered back. His mind raced, trying to reconcile the impossible. Kara. The warrior blinked, confusion and recognition fighting across its face. Armor plates shifted as it struggled to stand. I didn't think humans. It had to be a trick. Memories he had buried for decades clawed back to the surface. Kara was the name of his sister's closest friend, the brilliant young pilot who had been lost during the Exodus Campina, human child who had vanished during the Battle of Tethys 4. She had been declared dead, her pod destroyed in the orbital bombardment. Yet here she stood, not human, not fully, but alive, and changed. Jox's hands trembled as he inspected her injuries. The leg joint was shattered, but his mechanical mind kicked into gear. Hold still. I can fix this. Temporarily. You'll need full repairs back on a proper dock, but I can stabilize you. Kara, or the Dragon Warrior she had become, hesitated. Why? Why help me? Her voice cracked, showing traces of the little girl she had once been, hidden beneath decades of transformation. Jax swallowed hard, because you're still the person I knew. Even if you look like this now, you're still my sister's friend. And, damn it, Kara, I don't leave people behind. The warrior let him work. Jox's hands moved fast, melding human ingenuity with salvaged alien tech. Sparks flew, circuits hummed, and the dragon warrior gritted her teeth against pain. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the hiss of cooling plasma and Jock's muttering curses under his breath. Finally, the leg joint clicked into place, reinforced with a hybrid of human hydraulics and alien alloy. Kara tested it carefully, flexing and pivoting. She let out a sharp exhale, relief flooding her features. "You're alive," Jock said, voice choked. "All this time." "I thought, I know," she said. Her amber eyes glimmered with tears. "I didn't want to leave, but they changed me. They saved me, in a way, but I'm not the person I used to be." Jock shook his head. "Kara, you've always been brave. This is just another form of it. You fought to survive, and now here you are. Against all odds." She looked at him, then down at her claws. "I can't go back to being human, Harper. Not fully. And I can't fight the war like this, either." Jock frowned, considering. Maybe you don't have to. You don't need to be the same person, Kara. Just survive, live, and fight for yourself, not just the war." A silence stretched between them. The desert wind whipped sand into their hair, the fading sun painting the sky crimson and gold. Jock had spent years believing humans were small, fragile, inconsequential in a galaxy of giants. But looking at Karat, what humans could endure, what they could become, he realized he had been wrong. "You're still human." "Harper," Kara said softly, her voice tinged with awe. "You stopped to help me, when no one else would. You see me, not just what I've become, that matters more than you know." Jock swallowed. "You've got it backward. You remind me what humans are capable of. We survive, we adapt, we fight when it matters, and we help each other along the way." For the first time in decades, Jock felt hope not just for himself, but for the galaxy. Humans were small, yes. Fragile, yes. But even against impossible odds, they mattered. They endured. They mattered because they cared, because they acted when others would not. Kara rose fully, testing her restored leg. The sunset reflected off her armor, casting rainbow-like prisms across the desert floor. She extended a clawed hand toward Jock's. "I owe you my life. Don't even know how to repay you." Jock took her hand, gripping it firmly. "No debt, just stay alive. That's all I ask." A roar echoed from the horizon, an enemy patrol, likely sent to finish what had been started. Kara's eyes narrowed, instincts kicking in. "I can handle them," she said, voice hardening into the warrior she had become. Jock nodded. "I'll cover you, just like you do for me." Together, they moved toward the dunes. Jock loaded his salvaged plasma rifle, thinking of every human battle tactic he'd learned, while Kara's claws shimmered with deadly energy. They were an unlikely team, one human, one dragon warrior, but as they charged into the fight, Jock realized something fundamental. Humans were underestimated for a reason. Others thought they were weak, fragile, replaceable. But when a human made a choice, any choice, they made it fully, without hesitation. And if that choice was to stand with a friend, even against dragons and warships, nothing could stop them. Bullets and energy blasts rained around them, sparks flying in the red twilight. Kara's movements were fluid and lethal, every strike precise. Jock covered her flanks, improvising, fixing and firing with ingenuity only a human could manage. Minutes felt like hours, but eventually Silence returned. The patrol was defeated, their ships smoldering against the desert horizon. Kara looked at Jox, then at herself, and finally, she laughed a sound that was human and dragon, raw and alive. You never changed, Harper. Still saving people. Jox grinned, wiping sweat and blood from his face. And you never stopped being amazing, even if you scare the hell out of me now. As the stars began to pierce the darkening sky, Jox realized that this was more than survival. This was proof of human resilience. Proof that no matter what the galaxy threw at them, transformation, war, despair, humans would endure. And they would rise, stronger, cleverer, unbroken. He looked at Kara, at the dragon warrior with the human soul, and knew one thing with absolute certainty. He had never felt prouder to be human in his entire life, and maybe, just maybe, humans had found a way to leave their mark on the stars after all. Asterisk.